Hey, so welcome to the Jet Blast video blog thingy number 5. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the power-ups because like in the game, as you play, you can either get money and you can use this money to buy stuff, or you can just like collect them along the way. So let's look. So I'll just buy on this floor 2 a shield, a mag. Oh wow, that was expensive. The double shot already showed, slow-mo, afterburner. No, I don't have enough money, even though it says I do. There's a bug there somewhere. Alright, I'll show you some of the stuff. I wish I could have showed a bomb. Anyways, so the shield, as you can see, it's there. It protects you from the meteors, but it will not protect you uh, from the obstacles. And then we also have the meters are saving me. We also have the magnet, which pulls stuff like the money and stuff for you automatically, so you don't have to like shoot it or anything. And we have missiles. So I have 2 missiles. So let's try and get one of these dudes. So I shot one, and they're heat-seeking. So once you've like locked onto your target, you can just fire and forget. So let's try. Woo! There we go. That one seems to have not done anything, but it's a lot of work to go. We also have an afterburner. So there's the money and stuff. Oh, missiles. So there you see you can collect the power-ups. So I have another missile. Let's get something that's far away. So bam, that one worked pretty well. And the magnet, you see the magnet's collecting stuff automatically. And there's the dice. And there's the slow-mo. So the afterburner, I can show you, hopefully I won't die, just makes everything go fast really quickly for a while. And your stuff can stack. So you see I just shot the other shield, and now I have 2 shields. But you have to have the upgrade for that. So let's try out the afterburner, and hopefully without dying. So yeah, I died. And when you die, when you collect the dice, you get prizes. Yeah, I got a 1-up. Let's go to the menu, because when you die, you lose everything except the stuff that you just got. So let's buy a bomb. I see. Oops. I see that there is a bug, but that's okay. I will fix that later. So we have a bomb as well, which is pretty cool. I like the little shader. Oh, well, that was anticlimactic because it's a bit random, so I don't know why I decided to do something boring. Anyway, now that's been shown, I will show you how it's done. Alright, so how does this work? So we have 2 things. We have the power-up container. So like in the world object, we have the power-up container here. And in this power-up container, when it gets spawned, it gets a reference to the jet. It gets a reference to the player state. It checks if the jet is alive. If the jet's not alive, then it just destroys, because let's say you just died, there's no point in spawning any more power-ups, so it kills itself. It does some seppuku. And then if it is valid, it does a loop through the power-up list. So these are all the possible power-ups. And then it checks in your current inventory and in the upgrades, because the upgrades are the limit. So like at first you can only have 4 missiles, then you can upgrade to 6 missiles, and you can upgrade to 8 missiles. Let's say you're on the very first upgrade where you can only have 4 missiles, and you already have 4 missiles already. It verifies that, and then it checks it here. So that let's say as long as your current inventory is smaller than the limit that you can have, it can be added up to the power up list update. So it's a fresh new list. So let's say you have 8 missiles already. This prevents it from spawning more missiles, because if your inventory is full, you don't need more of something you already have. Um, once that is done, um, it checks the power up update list, and if it's the length is 0, that means you have everything, which is great for you. Um, then if that's true, then it just destroys it, and no power ups because you're full. And if it's not true, if you need power ups, then you get assigned to the power up type. So this text gets saved, and what happens is that now when you either bump into it or shoot it or whatever, we get the power up type that we had saved before. We convert it into a string, and we do a switch on string. So now we'll know if you have missile, blah blah blah, and depending on what you got, I tell it, I show it, I print it so I can see, and then I destroy the container. So how do we add each of these power ups? Some of them are simple. Like for a double shot, I just need to so I make sure like you can't add it if you're already at the maximum. So if you have 0 power shots and you can only have 1, then it updates your current inventory. So I did a system where I can just put in item's name, add. If this is not clicked, it actually removes it from the inventory. So I get current inventory, I find the thingy, I add it, and if it's add, I add it by 1. If it's not added, subtract, I remove it from the inventory. Let's go back to the power-ups, and same thing for everything else. This I could have actually done differently, but whatever. Could have made this all into one function where this passes, you know, the name here. So this would have an out thingy and then whatever. But it wouldn't work for everything because some of the complicated stuff. So anyways, the afterburner, the stuff that's either yay, nay, that doesn't really add an object to the jet. Pretty simple, there are 4 of them. But for example, the bomb, it actually adds a physical bomb underneath the jet. So, and you can actually shoot the bomb. So what I do is that I add it to the inventory, but I also have to spawn it. And so I add a component to the jet. I have 3 bomb. I could use a socket, but it's not the final model. So I have 3 sockets here, and then based on the amount, so if you have like 1 bomb, it takes the first, so it should fill it up correctly in theory. I'm not sure it does. Then I attach it to the jet, of course. It's pretty much the same for the shield. I wish you could add by class. Maybe if I spawn them instead of adding child actor component, we'll see. Pretty much the same thing here. I make it match the rotation of the bomb. It doesn't matter which way it's facing because they are spheres. But this one it does because the shield has to cover the wings as well. Same thing for the magnet. Except the magnet's different because I don't want to add multiple magnets. I just want to make the magnet bigger. And then so I check, has the magnet already been added? If so, I find the magnet and I get its scale based on like how many magnets there are. So I do a little bit of a bit of math. I feel like whatever. It just makes it bigger. So so those are magnets, and then we have the missiles, which are so far over here for some reason. And the same as before, check, make sure I can add more missiles. If I do, I spawn them. You can like do the properties here if you want to, like all the default stuff. And I add it to the thing, but I also add an array, so I know like where to put them. So like there's 2 missiles don't actually go on the same spot. This works pretty well. And then that's cool and all, but that's just adding them. How do they actually work? Well, some of the stuff like the bomb is pretty simple. Got to do the alarm again. I swear, I'll never be able to do one of these alarms properly. Anyway, so um, once you have the bomb, you can launch the bomb on the jet. On the jet, like to launch the bomb. Wait, where's the actions? Bomb action. So like if you press Q, you have bombs. It removes the bomb from the inventory. It gets the bomb from underneath you. It gets whatever, finds one. So for example, it always gets the last one. So if you have like eight missiles, it will always shoot the last one. It detaches it from the actor, and then we launch the bomb. And once launch the bomb, we get a reference of the jet for the forward vector. We turn on the physics a little so that it does this nice little drop down thingy. So I want it like the jet's flying, and then you release the bomb, and then whoosh, like that. So it goes whoosh. Kind of works, kind of. And then so we turn on physics for half a second, and we turn it back off, and then we figure out our forward vector, and then we start our bomb movement, and then after 2 seconds we explode no matter what. Just add the world offset to the forward vector, and that's it, you know. And then so when it does explode, it's just a bunch of like random numbers squishing and squashing its shape in all three directions. And then it does this for a while. It also grows, so it grows in size while it's squishing and squashing, and then once it's reached a certain scale, we implode the bomb, and then so it has two phases, and then wham 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 wham. I'll show it to you after. And then once it's done doing its thingy, it gets destroyed, and whatever it touches gets destroyed, except for the jet and the world, which as a bug sometimes it does happen, which is very annoying. So like, oops, I've destroyed the world by accident again. Next up is the magnet, which is just an attractor, really. Actually, no, it's not an attractor because it's not physics. It is, so we check, we want money, power-ups, or the dice. And, so we make an array of all the other actors that it's attracting, and we also remove from the array, so we don't want it to be like attracting forever. And then so the attractor happens on a loop-de-loop, and then we make sure that the length is not 0. So it's always repeating, even though it's 0, it's check again, and for the actors we find if it's valid, and we do the kind of the simple math. I think if you just minus your target's location with your location, and I did this to make it not instant, you know, and then that's it. Pretty simple attraction math. And then, all right, I need to go faster with this. The shield, because this is a bit complicated. Shield is just a giant sphere that if you touch it, it destroys the actor before it can reach the jet. There's nothing special. I mean, it's just a shader. It's really just a sphere with a cool shader, and it gets squashed. But it gets squashed. It gets conformed to fit the jet when it's spawned. Right, moving on. The missile. So the missile, I mean, it's pretty ghetto. The capsule, I made the collision a bit bigger for reasons. So really, the missile is, I mean, this is when it hits something, make sure it's not bullet jet, whatever, impact, destroy. The movement, the missile update, since the missile is homing, it always has to get a target. So when a missile is fired, it gets assigned a target, fired. Um, so this adds a trail to the missile. It starts the missile update. So, and after 3 seconds, the missile dies, whether it hits something or not. So the missile update, we do a bit of math. So we get the missile's location and we get the target location. Um, we subtract them from each other. We multiply it by the middle speed. We add it to the cone's location so that it's moving forward. So it's the cone that's moving forward, I guess. And we also find the lookout rotation and we adjust it because it was looking the other way. So now the missile will turn. So if this is what my target and this is the missile, if the target is going that way, the missile will actually turn. Because if not, if you don't do the lookout, the missile will just go like that, which is, I mean, it looks okay, but it looks better if it's actually pointing to, if it turns, you know, instead of just going eh. So instead of going, let's say missile's here, and this is going that way, instead of going like that, which is, I don't even know if you can see that, it will go like this. It will actually point. Anyway, so this updates every, I guess, 100th of a second. We check if the target is valid. Target is not valid. We make the missile just like fall out of the sky. And then since it already gets destroyed automatically, we just let it fall until it wants to die. And then if it is valid, we'll keep going, and the missile speed keeps getting faster and faster every loop. So it's like, because eventually I wanted to catch the object, because if it's a fixed speed and they're both going at the same speed, the missile will never catch it. So this way the missile is constantly accelerating until it can finally hit the object. And when it does hit, make sure it's not any of the others. So I broke these down into these. Yeah, it's basically the function. It just adds it to the jet. And that's about it for like the spawned ones. And then for the jet, you know, for like the afterburner, double shot, these are just like bools when you press the button. So like the afterburner, if you do have an afterburner, it checks it here. Remember the spin multiplier from the procedural generated level video? Well, here's why we need it. So this makes it goes 5 times faster. Removes the afterburner from the inventory, and then you can afterburn for about 1 second, and then it resets back to normal. But it depends. So if you have 9 afterburners, you can afterburn for like 9 seconds. Same deal with the slow motion, but instead of speeding up the world, it slows down the time dilation, moves it from the inventory as usual. The bomb, we went through the bomb, so remove it from the inventory, we find the bomb, launch the bomb. Pretty simple. The only one that's complicated is the missile, which will have its own video. So we add the missile, but when we fire the missile, that's a different story, because first we have to be locked on with this forward trace, and once we're locked on, then we can fire the missile. But I'll leave that for another video, because this one has gone pretty long now. So thank you for watching. Let's just look at the bomb one last. Oh yeah, 260. Oh, I have a bomb, so I can do that. What else didn't I show? Oh, the slow-mo. I didn't show the slow-mo. As an upgrade, slow-mo, buy it. Alright, so the bomb is, let's see if I can get a nicer, hopefully it won't kill my pawn. So you see it's just growing and right, it's always constantly fighting and getting bigger and smaller and stuff like that. Oh, I don't have a slow-mo. Why? Oh well. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. These are how the power-ups work, how each one is its own like blueprint, but they all come together and stuff. I hope I'll see you for the next video in a week. And yeah, any comments, criticisms, questions? Is there something specific you want me to show you, or want to know how it's done? Just let me know. All right. Have a good day. Peace.